Hello and welcome to this episode of the Diverge Podcast. This week we are looking back at the King Price Race to the Sea and what a fantastic edition it was. Some really exhilarating gravel racing there on the roads from Franschhoek to Benguela Cove. And then we are looking ahead to 2026 and entries opening for the Glacier Storms River Traverse, one of our favorite event that I always enjoy covering and being at. It's really great fun there in the Tsitsikamma Forests. And looking at pedal projects raffle for this year, their Dream Bike raffle, you can win a custom Titan Racing Cypher version 2. And it is it's a very special looking bike with some very cool components on it as well. So definitely one to support a good charity doing great work. 150 Rand a raffle ticket. So not a lot of money and a chance to win not only that Titan Racing, but also some great prizes from Liet as well. So lots to get through and exciting show in store for you. The 2025 Race to the Sea was, cool edition. Started chilly, like 7-8 degrees in Franschhoek on Saturday morning, and then warmed up very nicely as the day went on. There were very misty conditions along the Tierwaterskloof Dam. Visibility was pretty difficult today, but the racing was fierce throughout. In the men's race, we had a group of 4 get away and go over the pass together. Mark Pritson, who took the King of the Mountain prize, Tavis Stedman, Tristan Nortje, and Jaden Terlouw. And when we saw that move go away, I thought that was going to be the move. And Travis actually, reflecting on it later in his interview, he thought that was going to be the move. But the two groups behind came together. They worked hard together. Insect Science, they're instrumental in driving those two groups back together, along with Chilolo Waste. And those groups came together just as they got onto the first gravel stretch after turning onto the Van der Stel Pass, probably about 35 kilometers into the race. And that big group sort of rolled together a little bit, was a little bit tactical and maybe a bit negative. Some of the Chilolo Waste guys doing the work for Reinhard Janssen van Rensburg. There was sort of like the theme of that group. Phil Bass was at the front quite a lot for Page Eurosteel as well. And Rudy Kuhn for Imbuko ChemChamp doing a lot of work too. Just as they were turning left onto the Horston View Road, which was a little bit more trending downhill, after climbing a bit on that Van der Stel's Pass, Jaden Terlouw dropped his chain, lost the group. He ended up must have been an hour-long chase, really chased very hard, only caught the group just before the halfway mark of the race, where the 50-miler started just outside Caledon. And at that point as well, Jaco van Dijk of Chilolo Waste, he was up the road. He suffered a catastrophic rear wheel puncture, ended up riding in the last 5Ks to that aid station on his rim and the tire liner. That left Rudy Kuhn and Christian Klopper, then got past them. They were leading. Rudy was a little bit more adept at the technical terrain. Going through that section was quite rocky in amongst the Jeep tracks. And Rudy managed to get a little bit of a gap, about 17 seconds going into the aid station. Christian Klopper stopped at the aid station to get an Uswe and to sort of regroup a little bit, and then rode on a little bit slower, definitely riding within himself. We then saw Reinhard jump from the group, bridge across to Christian Klopper in what was a pretty interesting move, which eventually came to naught. Rudy Kuhn had about a 40-second lead at one stage, going past the wind turbines just outside Caledon, so that was about 80 kilometers into the race. Tristan Nortje suffered a front wheel puncture. Loertgoosen stopped with him. The two Imbuko ChemChamp guys then spent about 15 kilometers chasing back. Tristan said an hour in his interview, but it definitely wasn't quite that long. That was over exaggerated slightly. As they got back, to that front group that was starting to whittle down by that stage. Tavis Stedman and Mark Pritson, who'd been at the front of the main favourites group for the whole time, racing really, really smartly. Tavis and Mark then pushed on, and Tristan went with them along with Jaden Terlouw. We had a second group then form on the road. They went past Rudy Kuhn. We had a second group then form on the road with Rudy Kuhn, JP Dutoy, who we'll talk a little bit more about later. Very cool story there from the youngster studying at Stellenbosch, and Jan Vitar of insect science was in that second group on the road. So 4 up front, 3 in behind. Mark Pritson, Tavis Stedman, Tristan Nortje, and Jaden Terlouw, the 4 that had gone over the pass together. They were at the front, turning onto the Himmelanada Road. Jaden dropped out of that group. You could see his efforts from that long chase earlier in the day really starting to hurt him there. The 3 rolled nicely on the Himmelanada Road, or maybe not as nicely, according to Mark Pritson, taking a dig at Tristan Nortje. There's an interesting little bit of beef there between those two. Tristan refusing to mention Mark as a rider to watch in his pre-race interview, and then Mark saying that Tristan did no work for about 50 kilometers in his post-race interview. So, the usual cycling polemica, a little bit of nothing really, storm in a teacup. Himmelanada Road, top 3 stayed together. A little bit of a wiggle through one of the wine farms, a little bit of technical terrain, which was key in the women's race. Then they turned onto the Cavadas Kloof Road. And on that Cavadas Road, there are a couple of rollers. And on the first of the 2 big rollers, it was the penultimate climb and the last climb of the race, effectively. On the penultimate climb, Tavis and Tristan managed to get rid of Mark Pritson. On the final climb, Tristan kicked again, but couldn't quite distance Tavis. He went over the top with a couple of bike lengths, but Tavis quickly closed that down on the descent that followed. And then the last 10Ks, they just sort of worked together to keep Mark away, but saving their legs for what was inevitably going to be a sprint finish. Coming into Benguela Cove, they run along the lagoon and then come up a slight drag towards the finish line, which is along a dam wall. The finish was into the wind, and Tristan was sitting on Travis's wheel, trying to wait for his moment, hoping that Tavis was going to go a little bit early and blow into the wind. But when Tavis kicked, he just kicked away, very easily put 10 meters into Tristan Nortje there, and had the time to coast into what is a quite technical finishing chicane. I mean, fortunately, he managed to get that separation before the finishing chicane, because it is quite narrow. It's probably only 2.5 meters or so wide, and has got a serious kink to it before sweeping, or sharp left-hander. But by that stage, the race had been won, and Tavis Stedman took the 2025 title ahead of Tristan Nortje, just 2 seconds back. Mark Pritson was third, 61 seconds down, and then it was Jaden Terlouw with Rudy Kuhn eventually finishing 5th. So a good day out there for that Imbuko ChemChamp team with a 2nd and a 5th, and Toyota Specialized's Tavis Stedman taking the win. So let's go into those interviews and hear from the guys. And it's Tavis Stedman, the champion, kicking it off with the interviews. Then Tristan Nortje finished 2nd, and Mark Pritson rounding it out. 3rd place, Mark Pritson rounding out those interviews.
Tavis, tell us about the start this morning. You guys really lit it up on the pass, and the four strongest riders seemed to get away. The 4 strongest riders who were together at the end got away there as well.
Yeah, it was a really hard start there. I knew from years before it always kind of splits up over the climb, and I tried to go for the com there, but yeah, Mark got me over the top, and then I thought the race was kind of done after that, because it was a really strong move that went away, but the guys rolled quite hard behind, so ended up coming back together, and probably 5 or 6 moves later we finally got one that stuck away. But it was a really hard, long day on the bike. And then from about 15Ks to go, it really started to get hard up that steep climb. But yeah, Tristan and I got away there and just did some rolls together. And yeah, really happy to take the sprint in the end.
Were you a little bit worried on that very last climb? Tristan looked like he got just like a couple of meters on you. He had to dig deep there.
I felt quite comfortable before that, and into the climb I still felt like the legs were good, so I knew when he went it was going to be a hard pull. But yeah, I think I had the legs today just to be able to respond, and yeah, I knew if I just made it over there it would be okay.
And then coming into the sprint, you backed yourself.
Yeah, the sprint I saw it's quite a long one and it looked quite rough, so if you're coming in from the front it's quite hard to overtake, so yeah, luckily I came in there ahead.
Well done.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Tristan, tell us about the climb up Diverge Pass this morning. You guys went up there pretty hard, but yeah, got a good shoot over the top as well. Did you sit up afterwards or what happened?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ride it like Matt did in the previous years because I knew, yeah, if a good group gets over together and we work well together over the top, it would be good. But yeah, that whole climb was headwind, so I knew there was a lot of slip in the back. But yeah, just kept on going and knew that the guys' legs would maybe pop at the end. But yeah, we got over with I think like 4 guys, worked together. But yeah, the whole day was headwind, so the second group came back to us just after Tjevat of Kloof. So yeah, then it was quite negative, and yeah.
Rudy was off the front there at one stage as well. Was that sort of part of the team plan?
Yeah, the Loet and Rudy did an amazing job today. Rudy got up the road, stayed there for a long time, and then at a stage I saw him, he was alone at the front, and yeah, Loet also helped me with my flat tire, so yeah, big kudos to Loet and Rudy. I wouldn't be able to be there without them.
Where did you puncture and how long did it take you to fix it?
Yeah, so there's a climb along the canola fields up towards that tower. Yeah, I knew it was going to get hard up there, so we got a gap up there, and then down the descent I hit it quite hard, but I saw the guys didn't see it. I thought maybe it'll hold, but as we got to the bottom, I saw, okay, now I'm on the rim, and yeah, I had to stop. And as soon as I stopped, they went, but yeah, it was on that descent. I don't know, I just hit the rock so hard with this gravel bike.
And then coming into the Himalaya Road, 3 of you together, Mark, Tavis, and yourself. You must have known then with those 2, you know, they're fast guys on the sprint. You must have known you needed to do something to get rid of them before then.
Yeah, exactly. I also didn't know how my legs was going to be this last hour because, yeah, that chasing in the middle took a lot out of me. So I played a little bit there at the end. But, yeah, I knew there was this last 2 big climbs at the end. So I knew I wanted to go on that tar road one, but then I saw again it was headwind again. So I'm not going to be able to do 25Ks headwind on my own. So I just waited for this last gravel kicker and I went, and yeah, I got away, but Travis got back here at the end and then he took me in the sprint.
Mark, tell us about that Diverge Pass climb this morning, taking the King of the Mountain there. It must have felt good.
Yes and no. I don't know, I felt a little bit of if I look at the whole day, I felt a bit like a shadow version of myself. So yeah, then I had to just play smart and race hard. Yeah, I try to keep the tempo high so that there was no accelerations. Yeah, it's I'm a bit disappointed obviously because third is not what we came for, but yeah, at the end of the day, you know, some days you arrive on the bike and you just don't have the legs, and unfortunately it was one of those days for me.
You hit it very well though. I mean, you were present in all the big moves. Looked like you were riding really smart.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I had to try and make the race suit me a little bit because of the situation that I was in. I had like lower back problems and just like I just felt a little bit empty. So yeah, just to keep the pace quite high, just to try and make, you know, to nullify any attacks that might come and really hurt me and put me in trouble like it did at the end. But yeah, at the end of the day, Travis and Tristan rode a really good race, and yeah, it was an average day out.
Not bad for an average day out. Tell us about that penultimate climb when they got away from you. You obviously knew then.
Yeah, I was trying to keep the pace high when Tristan went. I mean, Tristan wasn't working in the last 50, 60 Ks. So yeah, he caught us there with a little bit of a sneaky one as well. And but luckily, yeah, Stedman did a good job, and he represented us 2 working in front there and still pulled it off. So yeah, congrats to him.
Then in the women's race, Hayley Preen, Catherine Colyn, Sarah Hill, Zandri Rousseau, Cherise Willett didn't start, unfortunately. Danielle Stradom came into the race a little bit sick in the week. She did end up finishing, just riding within herself to the finish, but Danielle unable to defend her title. Saw pretty early on the Franschhoek Pass already that it wasn't going to be her day, and just rode more conservatively to try to sort of take care of herself a little bit, but get that ride in. Franschhoek Pass was decisive. What we thought was going to happen in the men's race is what happened in the women's race. Hayley Preen, Catherine Colyn, and Zandri Rousseau went away together on Franschhoek Pass. Got away. Hayley Preen took the Queen of the Mountain hotspot prize up at the top, but Catherine Colyn had been the one driving the pace there. And the three of them then raced together, worked together to keep the chasers from catching back up. Sarah Hill was sort of chasing in no man's land all on her own obviously the pass, there's some drag, there's some help to be received from being in a group there, but not a significant amount. So basically Sarah Hill did 152 Ks or so solo, maybe a little bit more than that. After that group got away, sort of halfway up the pass. So a long day out for Sarah there. But the top three got away, worked together well until Zandri Rousseau hits a pothole approaching the halfway mark. Said it didn't puncture, but just took sort of a big knock, sort of tightened up her shoulders a little bit, and cost her a little bit of confidence on the descent. And after that, she could see Catherine and Hayley up front, but she could never bridge back across to them. So Hayley and Catherine Colyn rode into the second half of the race together, worked well together. You kind of get the feeling that Hayley was conserving a little bit. Kath said that every time they went downhill, Hayley would just get a little bit of a gap on her. So she was definitely working harder to stay in that pairing than Hayley Preen was. They did the whole Teslas, the whole gravel section. It's a beautiful gravel section that together rode onto the Himmelanade tar road and rolled through together. And then as they turned into the wine farm at the end of that road, just before they get onto the Cavetus Kloof road, they dropped down quite a steep section on the farm's driveway, and then took a hard left into the vineyards and dropped down a little bit more past that Hermanus Dam on the Cavetus Kloof road. And as they were going through that section, Hayley just managed to get like a 5-10 second gap on Kath. When she hit the gravel again, put the hammer down and extended her advantage. It went from those like 10-15 seconds to 30 seconds to a minute pretty quickly. And coming into Benguela Cove, she had a 3-minute gap on Catherine Colyn and managed to canter home to victory before she heads out to the States for the final 3 rounds of the Lifetime Grand Prix. So good confidence-boosting win there for Hayley Preen. It's her second King Price Race to the Sea title. She won her first South African Gravel Championships at the inaugural edition of Race to the Sea back in 2022. So it's a race that really suits her, and hopefully she will go to the States and do us all very, very proud there. Catherine Colyn finished second, Zandri Rousseau third, Sarah Hill, who'd ridden the whole way on her own, in fourth, and then Chloe Bishop managed to distance what had been a nice little group that had formed around the midpoint of the women's race. She managed to get away from them and round out the top 5 places. But here are the women, the leading protagonists from the women's race, starting with the champion, Hayley Preen, and then Catherine Colyn, second place, and Zandri Rousseau, who finished third.
In good shape. Tell us about the race.
Thank you. It was a good day. I think there were 3 of us over the top of Franschhoek Pass. until maybe like 50 Ks, and then just Kathy and myself until the last like 20 Ks, and then I managed to get away. And then solo to the finish. But it was a good day. Beautiful, beautiful day.
Wind, was that a factor at all today?
It was a bit windy, but I think it could have been worse. So I think we're lucky.
Clearly in good shape, and you've got big goals later on. In fact, quite soon, haven't you? What's the plan?
I'm off to the States on Tuesday for like 7 weeks, finishing off the Lifetime Grand Prix series. So yeah, I hope I'm in good shape, but no, I'm feeling ready for it.
Just quickly on Lifetime series on this event here, where does South Africa fit? You've had some experience out there. How do these events match up?
I love our events. Racing in South Africa, racing with people I know, and it's beautiful. But racing there is also on another level. So I think it's two different races.
Congratulations. Good luck for your journey in the Lifetime series.
Thank you.
There we go. We get to talk to our second place winner, Catherine Colyn. Well done today. Tell us a bit about the race. Just under 4 minutes there. What went on?
So, where the move happened was, I think it's the Yilmon Arder area. Hayley was just so fast through those trails and everything. Like, her speed on the technicals, I need to do some homework on that for sure. But I just let a little gap open up, and then she saw it and then took it. And then I think now with also this trail closer towards the finish, I can just imagine how she was sending down there. So I was trying to do the same, but I don't think I was that fast. But yeah, it was a good first half of the race. When I parred up Franschhoek Pass, I had some fun there. And then we went down, and then we were 3 goals. And then, yeah, we just kept riding, and it just turned out to be Hayley and myself. But like throughout the race, we're pretty like matched, because like I would push, she would close, she pushes, I close. So it was really just that little luck of the moment. Unlucky for me, where like she could go and make the gap. But it was a good day, I would say.
Yeah, you look fairly happy with the way the day went and your shape at the moment. Quite good.
Yeah, like I would say the training's been going really well. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be able to ride my bike and enjoy it and be healthy, and to have amazing sponsors that I can get to these races where without them I wouldn't be able to race my bike.
You were one of the early adopters. You went over to the States early on. You're racing gravel. There's more and more races this year again.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool to be one of the first South Africans alongside Matt going over to Lifetime. And now it's also awesome to see how well Hayley is doing in the series. So this year I'm staying in local, but then next year we'll be doing more like some European, like the Tracker and those type of races. Also South African ones.
Congratulations on second place here.
Thank you so much.
The King Price races, the women's race, Hayley Preen, Catherine Colyn and Sandra. So well done. How was today?
Oh, it was good, but it was hard. Yeah, I didn't feel so great, but happy that I could finish it off.
Where did you lose touch with the race at the front?
Actually on one of the downhills. I just hit one of the dents very hard, and I just had a bad pain in my shoulder, and I just fell off basically from there onwards. But I was basically seeing them for the entire race. I could see them there in the front, so it was very mental.
How do you deal with that? How do you cope with that?
I just use it as a carrot. I just decided that as long as I can see them, I know I'm pacing hard enough, and then at least I know no one from the back is just going to come from behind and surprise me.
Tell me about this race and what your emotions, what your feeling is about the King Price race this year.
It was a super, super nice race. The last bit of the race is much better than last year, but very well organized. And then the route markers was great. So 10 out of 10.
Well done.
Thanks so much.
And then after looking ahead at the 2026 Storms River Traverse, it's an event that I've always enjoyed going to, that I've had the chance to ride before on a normal bike. The last couple of years I've ridden it on an e-bike, working from an e-bike, and it really is a fantastic event. The racing is not particularly serious. There are obviously people that go there to race their hearts out. Recently, it's been a good proving ground for partnerships ahead of dryland event management's other races, especially the Cape Pioneer Trek. So new partnerships like to go to Storms River and test themselves. The Project Dream SA guys did it this year, and they were very strong. So hopefully we'll see them do well. It's the Cape Pioneer Trek. Cape Pioneer, no longer Trek. At the end of September and the beginning of October. But next year's race, things to look forward to there. Lots of socializing, good food, like a relaxed vibe. The there's e-bikers that tour, and there's e-bikers that really go for it, like super hard. Mark LaRue of Big Shot Media is one of those guys that's really got like a second lease on racing in his 60s. And loves nothing more than racing other 60-year-olds on their e-bikes. And they always go too hard, and someone always ends up mismanaging their battery and having to ride up the pass from the Storms River up to the race village. And that pass is like 4 and a bit kilometers long, climbs about 300 meters. So if you get that wrong, it can be a long old grind up that hill after flying all day and then to grind up there. But it's one of the entertaining things of the Storms River Traverse is finding out about those guys who've got it horribly wrong. The first day goes out to the east and then rides along the coast. Some beautiful coastal scenery in and out of the MTO plantations. Starts and finishes with indigenous forest around that Storms River Pass, which is really, really spectacular. And the second day goes to the west towards the Plettenberg Bay side. A little bit more rocky terrain in the start of the race, a little bit more indigenous forest as well. You're in the indigenous forest for longer, and then lots of MTO plantations and sea views at one stage, which are also spectacular, kind of above the Otter Trail route there as well. So if you've done the Otter, you know those views that you get from when you climb up those the steeper climbs on the Otter when you up towards the plateau. That's the type of views you get on those coastal stretches of the Storms River Traverse as well. So that day, front-loaded with climbing, a nice day for the e-bikers as well, less stressful on the battery management. The last day goes to the east again, sort of stays away from the coast a bit more, though, and more great riding. The whole idea of the Storms River Traverse is to ride alongside each other, rather. If you're riding with friends, family members, teammates, you aren't drilling it so much. You can relax, you can chat, and it's the way a long weekend away on the bike should be, in my opinion. So one to look out for. Entries to that open on the 10th of September at midday, so tomorrow, if you are listening to this as this comes out. Otherwise, 10th of September, entries are open. And one that I can highly recommend. And then wrapping up the show this week with the Pedal Project's Dream Bike Raffle. That's Titan Racing Cypher DC Carbon version 2 is the full thing. Painted by Harsey and the Robots, like the last couple of Dream Bike, or last year's Dream Bike was also painted by Harsey and the Robots. Very cool looking. Check it out on Pedal Project's social media, and they are in the link in the show notes as well to the raffle tickets, and to have a look at the bike. Even if you just want to look at the bike, check it out. It's got Fox suspension, Kashima coated Fox suspension, so top end there. Shimano XDR drivetrain, not the new XDR. Unfortunately, the old wired XDR, not the wireless. South Industries wheels, which are absolutely fantastic. Line components, I've done the cockpit and the finishing kit, the grips and all of that, as well as drop a seat post. And then there are some crank leather pedals as well to go with it, which is a nice addition. You don't get bikes with pedals normally. New bikes don't come with pedals, so that's a cool addition. That you have those to start it off with, and then that's the first prize for the raffle draw. The second and third prize, 20,000 Rand hampers. That should actually be a joint second prize. 20,000 rand hampers from Liat Protectives. They've got an XCM, the endurance range is their nominated second prize, and then the third prize, the trail range hamper. Both of those are 20,000 rand hampers of Liat's amazing products. So cool prizes to win there, and the raffle tickets, all proceeds from the raffle go straight to the Pedal Project's Trail Therapy. They work with kids from Kailicha and Nunzamo and work with schools. The schools nominate kids who need to get out, need some therapy. So they ride their bikes with registered counsellors, and the counsellors have a chat to the kids, talk them through things. Yeah, just deal with, the stresses of being young, but then also of living in those disadvantaged communities and the tough economic realities that come with living in those communities. So the trail therapy really does a lot of good. 150 rand a ticket, 2 tickets, so 300 rand pays for an hour of trail therapy. So a little goes a long way for those for the Pedal Project. So you can really make a significant difference there. Their aim is to sell, I believe, 2,000 tickets this year to exceed last year's raffle. So get involved, support them, buy a raffle ticket, and you never know, you might win a fantastic bike or some very cool hampers as well. And that's it from this week's show. Thanks for tuning in. As always, you can read all those stories on the diverge.info website, or find the links in the show notes. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all of that. And thank you very much for listening. Until next time, cheers.